Welcome to Essential Work. I have a very special guest this evening already on the screen, Mr. Taylor Shepard, aka Leather Jacket, looking good. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing better than I deserve. I really am.
I like that answer. Yep. Well, Taylor, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man. What was growing up like for you?
All right. Well, I'm born and raised in Columbus. I'm 28 years old. Lived here about I say Columbus, the area for sure. I've lived in Phoenix City a couple times on and off. I've lived in Harris County. Actually lived in Auburn for 6 months. I went to Auburn as a Georgia fan, and it was a strange time of my life. But shortly following that, I grew up with an amazing family. Just loving, caring, nurturing people who I've learned so much just about life and how to treat people from and how to love Jesus.
Yeah.
And they kept me. I kind of split my time growing up as a kid between Bethesda Baptist, which is in Ellerslie, and Calvary right here in town. So I had like a Baptist foundation. Later on went to a Presbyterian church, and kind of branched out, learning some new things, and now the Fort, where it's just everybody together, which is, man, that's what it's all about. And I'm just so thankful I found y'all.
Man, remind me, where were we at as a church, location wise, when you first came?
It was downtown Phoenix City.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all hadn't been there long.
Okay.
You had moved from the school, I believe.
Yeah. Well, see, we went from the school to another location on 165 Sunderland Baptist, and then we had two places that's when we went downtown. 14th Court, is that what you're talking about, near South Railroad?
Yeah, right by the Coors Light sign.
Yeah. That's that old 20-year-old sign that no one ever renewed or whatever.
That's how they told me to get there. They said, take a right at the Coors Light sign. I was like, I can't miss it.
That sounds about right. Well, man, you've always been an inspiration to me, whether you realize it or not. Just your countenance, man, your attitude, always positive. And I know you're humble as mess, and man, like every time I just see you around, you just lighten up my day. And so,
well, I'll tell you why I think that is, and that's because when y'all see me, I'm surrounded by kind of the best part, of my life, which is, y'all. I mean, this church, I may not be here as much as I'd like. Work is just chaotic sometimes, but
and you work really hard as a firefighter.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And how long you been doing that now?
I've been a firefighter for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That flew by.
It did. Yeah.
That really flew by.
Matt was with me, actually, kind of coaching me the day of my interview. I remember that. I'll never forget.
Matt Stevens?
Mm-hmm.
Coaching you?
Yeah. Where were we? Were at a Phoenix City. What's the elementary school?
That's Central.
Yep.
Phoenix City Elementary. That's what it's called.
I guess that.
Right?
Yeah. No wonder I can't remember
with the spaceship.
Yeah.
Just PCIS. Yeah.
We were there visiting the kids on lunchtime. Yeah. And I told them, nice. I said, man, I got a big event later. I really want it. And man, I've been so blessed with that job. It's been so good to me, and just it's given me a lot of purpose.
That's awesome.
So I'm very thankful, and I got my paramedic last year, so now it's kind of both fire and EMS, and I'm just very thankful. So much to learn, and so many people you can maybe touch in a positive
long
way.
Career ahead for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think most children want to be when they're small. I wanted to be a firefighter. My son definitely wants to be one.
Oh man, I never thought of it. I don't think growing up it was always baseball for me, but I was never any good. So you kind of have to be good to go somewhere in baseball. So
I would love to listen to your salvation story. So man, describe to me how God saved you, man.
Okay, I'd love to share it. So again, split the time between those two churches mainly. When I was living in Auburn, my life started kind of changing a little bit, and I kind of got a little distant from church, from kind of like a Christian mindset, things like that. And I had always been positively influenced by my grandparents, especially, and my parents. But my grandparents were always the ones like, Taylor, we can't wait for the day you get baptized and just accept Christ in your heart. And I would always tell them, even as a kid, I was like 6 years old, and I was like, I'm not going to do it until I know. And they were like, you don't know now? And I'm thinking, I was telling them, these other kids are just putting on a show, and that's not always the case. I'm not saying every kid's like that, but for me, I really wanted it to be real when I knew. And man, when I got back from Auburn, I came back to Columbus. I was jobless, bouncing around houses, staying with different family members, and I ended up having my son, who's actually here with us today. And
which is awesome.
Yeah, special guest.
You can peek your head in, man. Special
guest from Arizona right here. Came from the desert to see us.
Very cool.
And
that's Bentley, everybody.
That's Bentley Kevin. And man, when me and his mother had him, it was an eye-opening experience, and I was just felt so connected to God and to everything I had learned over the years. And I was like, man, it's true. Like, this life isn't for you. You're living it for others, and you're living it to proclaim His name. And immediately, right off the bat, I was like, man, this is my opportunity to be a better person by, living through Him. And I was like, I want him raised around Jesus, being the center focal point. And
kids will teach you a lot, won't they?
They will, man. Oh my gosh, I don't remember my life before him. I really don't. It's like it's so gray before that.
I say it all the time. I write songs about it, and it's nothing has showed me more the love of the Father than having a child of my own.
Yeah.
And it's the most beautiful thing ever.
It's kind of our chance of, a small sliver of time to be a father or a mother, like He's our Father. And like you said, that's just the greatest thing. Such a gift. But my pastor at Bethesda at the time, his name was Todd. And, Brother David had kind of stepped down. He was retiring. And I always viewed him as my pastor. But then Todd stepped in, and he used to be the youth minister out there. And then when he stepped in, it was like I was kind of apprehensive about it because I'd only had one pastor my whole life, pretty much. So I was like, oh, he's not going to be as good, da-da-da. And then when he started preaching, I was just plugged in, and like things were just making sense. And I was hearing it, like really hearing it, feeling it. And he started noticing it. He said, Taylor, I'm going to leave the ball in your court, but I think it's time to have a public, demonstration of what's going on in your heart. So I shared my testimony to the church in front of all these 80-year-old women, and I was crying, boo-hooing, and I knew, man. I just knew, like, that year was such an amazing year. It was 2012 that I was saved, for sure. And ever since then, it's been a ride, man, because now I have that those standards to live to, and I'm so thankful for them, man. Just sometimes I feel like I'm failing so hard. Like, I'll just be like, man, I just, like I was telling Bentley earlier, I feel like I'm slipping, but then maybe the next day I'll wake up and I'm just given so many reminders of how beautiful every moment we have is. And
absolutely, man.